timbers!
Welcome, Buccaneers, to the Pixel Pirate vlog. This is your host, the Pixel Pirate. Well, today was the PS4 live stream, and boy oh boy did we get loads of information on the new console. Well, first and foremost, it is going to be released this year, which is freaking awesome. I don't know whether I'll buy it because I am primarily a PC gamer, but I have to say it looks fairly interesting. According to Geekscape.net, the new console will feature a x86 processor. Now, what that means is that it's closer to a computer than it ever has been before, which is awesome for computer people and console people, because what it means is basically, because it's so close to a computer, you'll be able to get console ports that are not only more frequent but better in design, because basically it's designing for the same architecture. Now, the problem with the PS3 was originally that it was very difficult to design for because it was so foreign compared to a PC or an Xbox. So if you were to release a console game, it's console only. If you were to release on the PS3 and the Xbox, you're basically building two different games at the same time. And then if you want to release on PC as well, that's a whole different kettle of fish, so to speak. So with the advent of the PS4 being x86 processor, it means that development or console ports to PC are going to be much, much easier and more frequent because they're more viable. So that's great news. Great news. It's also going to ship with 8 gig of RAM, which actually seems like a small amount to me. I think they should have gone for 16. If they're going to go for the cycle that currently happened, as in over 5 years, then I feel like 8 gig is probably a little bit too low, although it is DDR5 memory, so I'm kind of umming and ahhing, maybe not, I don't know, but it seems like most console games kind of rely on the CPU more, at a guess. Although having said that, the PS3 did ship with a processor that was through the roof, and it feels like that wasn't very utilized simply because graphics or the GPU was more to do with what it looked like, if that makes any sense. The DualShock 4 controller was also released, or I say released, we were allowed to look at it, which it looks fairly interesting. I'll have to use it, of course, or at least see some reviews about the controller before I put my mark of approval or disapproval on it. Not that anyone cares about that, but yeah, it's early days yet, in other words. So we'll see what happens with the controller and also the console. Of course, the Wii U came out first, and it's fairly lackluster, unfortunately, not because it's not powerful enough, which it isn't, and not because it doesn't have good features, but because there's no games for it at the moment. No one's releasing any games for it, and it is suffering because of that. I think last month it only sold 60,000 units for the Wii U. So let's hope the PS4 doesn't go that way, which I doubt, because there's enough exclusives on the PS or on PlayStation in general, I think, to carry it at least to its conclusion. So, and at the very least, because of that, other developers will want to release games on it. So time will tell, of course, and if you want to see the entirety of the live stream, it is everywhere, so just search for it and you'll be able to watch the whole damn thing. There's also updates on Reddit about it and stuff like that. So, keeping on the PS4 bandwagon, the who was it? Who said that? Who said it? Shunhi Yoshida. Oh my god, sorry if I mispronounced your name. I'm terribly sorry. But he came out and said that The PS4 won't need a internet connection always on. So you can go offline on the PS4, which is quite interesting. Not only that, but you can also put it into soft off. So it will go in standby, you click the button, it'll come back up as whatever you were doing. So for example, at a guess, if you were in the middle of a game, you could hit the soft off button, it would go into standby mode, then you hit it again, and it comes back up, and you are back in the game straight away. So you don't have to completely shut down the system. But, and I quote from Eurogamer.net, you can play offline, but you may want to keep it connected, he suggested. The system has the low power mode. I don't know the official term. I don't know why he doesn't know that. He works for them. That the main system is shut down, but the subsystem is awake. Downloading or uploading, you can wake it up using either the tablet, smartphone, or PS Vita. Which is quite interesting, actually, because they have connectivity for smartphones and tablets. Excellent. All right, he goes on to say, well, Eurogamer asked if that's optional or not, whether the internet connection is optional. Oh, yes, you can go offline totally. Social is big for us, but we understand there are some people who are antisocial. Thanks. Make me sound like a douchebag for not wanting a continuous internet connection on my PS. Dear me. He goes on to say, so if you don't want to connect to anyone else, you can do that. So time will tell whether that is just complete spin and basically you do need an internet connection, but it seems like that you don't. So, but you know, it's Sony, so don't hold your breath. All right, in other news, IGN have been hit with layoffs, and I was really surprised to hear this. Not amazingly surprised because they have shut down websites before, but they are shutting down 1UP, Gamespy and UGO, which is really sucks. I didn't really go to any of those websites, at least in the last 10 years. But I basically grew up with Gamespy. Gamespy and to a lesser degree 1UP were the things that you sort of used in the gaming world to do stuff. So especially Gamespy. Gamespy, you know, you connected to games with Gamespy. And even into the late 2000s, you use Gamespy to connect to games. And I don't know if they'll continue that or not. I have no idea. But yeah, it feels like the death of an era with Gamespy. Now, 1UP to a lesser degree, because I do believe, at least in my experience, 1UP came up after Gamespy. And I did use that for news every now and then. Mostly I used Voodoo Extreme, which died a horrible death, unfortunately. It's still up, I think, but all the staff were laid off for that website. I was using Voodoo Extreme as a news site since something like 1998 or 99. That was my main go-to place where I went to every day to get my gaming news. Yes, so it looks like IGN are sort of shuffling their bits and pieces. As a technical term, I'm a businessman. Yeah, sort of consolidating everything into one website instead of 60 million of them that they acquired over the years. Yes, it's a real shame. So, death of an era, 1UP, Gamespy and UGO are shutting down. Very unfortunate, but that's life, I guess. And with that, that is the end of our vlog for today. So thanks very much for watching. If you like what you saw, then do give me a thumbs up. This has been your host, the Pixel Pirate, and we'll see you next time.
Shiver me timbers!